A 5-alarm fire at a home in Brooklyn resulted in 6 firefighters hurt. Several neighbors had to be rescued. It happened just before midnight on 74th Street in Dyker Heights. This video shows the intensity of those flames throughout a 3-floor building. More than 200 firefighters worked together to fight those flames. One firefighter climbed down, literally on fire, from a ladder, and those flames had to be smothered from his burning jacket. Unbelievable. The fire also extended to a neighboring home.
I was getting ready to go to bed, put my plate out into the kitchen, and I saw what looked like a bonfire in my neighbor's yard. So I looked out the back door and I saw the outside of the back of the house on fire and the tree outside their house. And so I went into autopilot mode.
Laura Howard had to leave her cat behind as well as her belongings. She was assured by firefighters that they would locate her pet, and obviously all is well.
One off-duty New York City firefighter being praised as a hero tonight after he saved his family and a neighbor from a raging fire.
Yeah, listen to this. Peter Orlowski was in his Dyker Heights home Saturday night when he smelled smoke. He quickly ran outside to see his neighbor's house in flames. When he noticed his older neighbor was not outside, he rushed into the burning building, found the man, and carried him to safety.
Wow. He then noticed the flames had spread to his own home, so he ran in and got his parents and the family dog out. Unfortunately, both buildings were destroyed by that 5-alarm fire. FDNY officials say without his training and fast action, there would have likely been lives lost as well.
Now to an intense firefight in Brooklyn. More than 200 firefighters battled this inferno in Dyker Heights overnight. At one point, in fact, a firefighter's uniform caught on fire and 12 firefighters were injured in total. And they were just racing to save a home that belongs to one of their own. News 4's Ida Siegel tells us how that firefighter saved lives even while his own home on 74th Street burned.
It was late Saturday night. Flames engulfed these 2 homes on 74th Street in Brooklyn. Firefighter Peter Orlowski lives in one of those houses. He was off duty when he jumped into action, saving his parents, his sister, even his dog. His soon-to-be sister-in-law telling us about what happened.
And then next door, that's when he started seeing that the flames were starting to spread and it was becoming an inferno, essentially.
He was even captured on video rescuing an elderly neighbor next door. That's him with the mustache, without any protective gear, carrying that neighbor out of his home. But while Peter did that, his own house burned and is now nothing but a charred shell.
He didn't have anything, no gear, nothing on. He didn't go in to get his wallet, his ID, nothing. He's just like, I have to do something. He did this just out of the goodness of his heart. He's a very good person. He didn't think twice about himself. He just jumped into action.
Peter and his family are physically uninjured, but emotionally exhausted. They lost everything. Patricia started a GoFundMe page. She's raising money to help the firefighter who's always ready to go above and beyond get back on his feet and find a new place to live.
He's really distraught right now. I mean, the most important thing is they're alive. They're okay. They got out. Their dog got okay.
12 on-duty firefighters suffered minor injuries battling this fire, and officials tell us a total of 12 people were living in these 2 structures and have now been displaced, including a police officer who has also lost everything. Reporting from Dyker Heights, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
Heroism here by a Brooklyn firefighter after he rescued a neighbor during a large fire in Dyker Heights, a fire that also destroyed his own home. Firefighter Peter Orlowski was off duty Saturday night when he smelled smoke and saw the fire in the backyard next door. Video shows a dramatic moment. He carried his 92-year-old next-door neighbor out of the burning house right there on 74th Street.
Woke him up. I told him that I have to get you out. Like, we have to go, and he didn't want to go. He was very flustered, and then eventually he said he was going to walk, but there was no time. I ran back to my own house, and I told my parents, there's no time, just grab it. We're going out now.
Got it done under pressure. All 12 residents from 2 houses made it out okay, but it took more than 200 firefighters to get the whole thing under control. Neighbors have started a GoFundMe page for the dozen residents who are now homeless.
The families who lived in these 2 homes on 74th Street in Dyker Heights lost everything in a massive 5-alarm fire early Sunday morning. But Officials say no lives were lost because one resident jumped into action. Peter Orlowski also happens to be a firefighter with 5 years on the job. His neighbors tried to get everyone to safety, but Orlowski knew someone was still inside.
I noticed everybody was outside except for the husband, the 95-year-old gentleman that I always say hi to. And I wasn't thinking, I guess they're just training. I just went in there, just took a quick look at every room, and I found him all the way into the rear.
That neighbor's home was where the fire originated, and while firefighters from the closest firehouse responded in just minutes, the fire grew so quickly it spread next door to where Orlowski has lived for more than 15 years.
I ran back to my own house, and I told my parents, there's no time, just grab it, like we're going out now.
But without any of his firefighter gear, he joined his neighbors and dozens of curious onlookers as flames consumed both buildings.
Literally, the house went up like paper. It went up so fast, which was very scary.
To see it jump from one house to the other and just how quickly and how great the firefighters just got it under control.
One firefighter did have to evacuate when flames grew so intense, his uniform caught fire. 6 firefighters were transported to the hospital with minor injuries.
Eventually, due to the many voids in the building and the structural stability of the building, we had to back units out and go to exterior streams.
And while firefighters on the scene may not have known that they were trying to save the home of a fellow firefighter, they were among those who opened their wallets to help. Someone close to the family started a GoFundMe page to help Orlowski and his family. It raised tens of thousands of dollars in just one day. With almost 600 people donating to the campaign in just one day, they took their initial fundraising goal of $50,000 and have now raised it to $60,000. In Diker Heights, Angie Gonzalez, New York 1.
And tonight we're hearing from an off-duty firefighter in Brooklyn who saved his neighbor from a raging fire. Before realizing flames had spread to his own home, well, that's when he jumped into action to save his own family. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is live at Red Hook with more. Brave, quick-thinking firefighter. Kimberly.
Oh, lightning fast, Sade. He didn't panic. He did rely on his training as a New York City firefighter, and that really is what saved lives. Peter Orlowski was off duty. He was not here at Engine 202 in Red Hook. What happened next truly is a case of in your own backyard.
It's one thing for a firefighter to battle a blaze like this 5-alarmer, but when it spreads to his own home where his family was inside, well, that's a very different story, one Peter Orlowski is here to tell.
I told my parents just get ready to evacuate.
It was just before midnight Saturday evening. This New York City firefighter who was off duty, he was home inside 1324 74th Street in Diker Heights. He smelled smoke and saw an ominous orange glow coming from his neighbor's home. Everyone was about to go to sleep, and so looking back, he knows had he not seen the warning signs, this would have been catastrophic.
We would have been in the house. I wouldn't be able to help out my neighbor, and my parents would have been, dead too, or even me.
But he did, and when he got to his neighbor's house, he faced this wall of fire and an elderly lady sitting on the porch without her husband. The 33-year-old knew something was wrong. He rushed into that house where flames were quickly taking over. He had no equipment, only determination and laser focus.
And, I woke him up. I told him that I have to get you out. I just made a decision. I just picked them up, took them outside.
Peter then saw the unthinkable. Flames were spreading to his home. His family, including his parents, sister, and dog, were still inside.
And I told my parents, there's no time. Just grab it. Like, we're going out now.
No one was seriously hurt, but 12 firefighters did have minor injuries, including this one whose jacket was on fire. But Peter's split-second decision to do something, well, that didn't go unnoticed.
He was able to put his training, his skills, and his ability into action. And he saved that gentleman's life, hands down.
Job well done. It took more than 220 firefighters 4+ hours to bring that fire under control. It's still not clear what caused it. As for Peter, his family, everybody in both houses, they lost everything. They're now staying with friends, but they're so grateful to just be alive.